Hi, today I want to continue on with a number of short videos that are going to be linked together because they're all related to leading change. So what I mean is, suppose you've woken up and become really excited about fighting forest fires and making sure that everybody has a defensible space around their home if they live in the wildland urban interface so that they don't lose their home in a fire. Or maybe you're on fire about probiotics and macrobiotics, and you have healed yourself from some pretty big health issues, and you just want the whole world to know that if they just eat this or drink this, that they're going to feel a lot better. And good for you for being excited and wanting to share your wisdom and your knowledge. That makes you a thought leader, or potentially a leader in an online community. You have a platform, you're using Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever your jam is. You're excited, you know stuff, you're woke as fuck, and you now are feeling like it's your mission to wake everybody else up. I don't normally curse, but this is a part of the lexicon, the public language right now. So I'm gonna be using the F-bomb in this video. If that's not your thing, you can back out. So, all right. So a couple of days ago, I posted the introduction to the 7 dimensions of well-being. That's right here, the front of the video. The thumbnail looks like this image. And the reason I'm bringing this up again right now is because many of us experience an awakening on one or two of these. So as I said in that first video, if you watched it, many of us are functioning pretty well on 3 of these levels. The levels are, in case you can't read it, physical, emotional, mental, social, environmental, financial, and spiritual. So many of us have 3 or even 4 of these where we're doing really good. We're investing time and energy, we're doing good. And then we either choose to pursue awakening on another dimension, or maybe it happens spontaneously. You're practicing meditation, or you're reading certain books, or maybe you've experienced a spontaneous shift in your consciousness through any number of methods that can cause a shift in consciousness. And boom, all of a sudden you just get it. You understand. Well, many times the thing that you understand is really the property of one of these dimensions and not all 7. So, why is that important? Well, if you happen to be searching for a teacher and you're working on, let's go with social. I've been working on social lately. So you're searching for a teacher, you've become interested in social justice, you've found some pretty amazing social justice role models, you're waking up, you want everybody else to wake up socially. You may make the mistake I've made, it's a very common mistake. We experience an evolutionary leap in our consciousness, and we think we're woke as fuck on all the dimensions, and all of a sudden we are the self-appointed next best self-help guru. We're gonna go all the way. We're gonna take web courses, we're gonna build our platform, we're gonna build an entire business on telling everybody which food to eat or which exercises to do. Or, pick dimension here, doesn't matter which. So, around social, for instance, I'm seeking out social justice warriors and leaders, and I'm finding some really amazing women of color, and I'm really excited to devour their thoughts and feelings. And the women that I'm following are very clear that their niche is social justice. It wouldn't make sense for me to tune into a social justice warrior and expect to get a completely holistic, multi-dimensional education from that person, unless that person has already done work on all 7 dimensions. They're appropriate to teach in the ones that they're specialized in. Okay, so like I'm aware that there are these 7 dimensions, and at different times I'm tuned into the ones that I'm attending to, the ones that I'm giving my energy to. But that doesn't mean that just because I'm attempting to balance all 7, it doesn't mean that I am an enlightened, holistic being who is completely woke as fuck. This is kind of egotistical in my opinion. It's cutesy, it's a fun hashtag, but I have seen some cases where there's potential harm. A certain teacher has felt like they've got all 7 of them down, and what they're teaching, let's take physical. This is a really obvious place. I might have discovered the perfect balance for me happens to be eating tons of salt. It's true. I have very low blood pressure, and issues with that, can lead to some complications in my other neurological and cardiological issues. So I have to eat tons of salt. But what would happen if I went out and told the whole world that they had to eat tons of salt? What would happen is blood pressure would go through the roof for those people who have already a tendency towards high blood pressure. So it's not a one-stop shop. What works for Tree is not necessarily what works for Joe or Shaniqua. It's just not the same. So when we're shopping for a teacher, we need to be paying attention to which dimension am I working on, and is this teacher teaching from the same dimension? If you're in a place where you want to find a holistic teacher, you need to be asking yourself, do they demonstrate in their external web persona, because you don't know the real them, but does their web persona demonstrate literacy and proficiency in each of these dimensions? I am thinking that from what I've seen, Deepak Chopra, for instance, appears to be demonstrating proficiency on these levels. He appears to be physically healthy, emotionally in tune. He is a medical doctor after all. Physical, emotional, mental, a lot of good balance there. He's studied and taught multiple major religions, obviously Hinduism, but he has books out understanding and integrating the similarities and differences between Hinduism and Christianity and Islam, I think. I'm not a Chopra expert, by the way, so don't quote me. Financially, well, obviously he's loaded. He's got all kinds of popular courses, a retreat center, books, etc. Environmental and social, you know what? I really can't tell you for sure. I don't know if he recycles. I don't know if his retreat center attends to matters of being as low plastic and low waste as possible. I don't know. I could find out. Doesn't matter at the moment. Socially, he appears to be pretty well connected and has lots of esteem and lots of colleagues. I did watch a documentary filmed by his son. I apologize, I don't remember the name of it. It might be Deepak Decoded. It's on Netflix. His son shot this documentary, and as I watched it, I got the feeling that there were some issues between father and son because he's so excellent at being there for everyone, and all of his teachings and all of his business and busyness, I think probably had the result that his son appears to have felt a little lonely and neglected. Now, is that okay? Does that mean that Deepak is not an appropriate teacher for me. No, it just means that I'm now aware and paying attention to where can I experience the greatest benefit from that particular teacher. And if I have the desire to become a better parent, I might learn well from him in terms of considerations for how to be a, I don't know, how to be a DPAC and a parent at the same time. That could be something he could teach me as well. So just because there was that opportunity there for he and his son doesn't mean that he's not a valid teacher in that domain. So I'm putting all this out there for you to think about because you're probably interested in teaching and sharing your wisdom, like we said at the beginning of the video. I want you to think about and strategize, what are you qualified to teach? And if this model resonates with you, grab it, take it. I'm not looking for, royalties here. It's great if you would mention me in this model. You can even point people to this video. But this, I think, is valuable. It's really valuable. And if this resonates with you, take it and run with it. And use it for strategizing. Which of these things are you teaching about on a particular day? Let people know up front so they know who they're dealing with and what kind of thing they could be receiving. And it's also important because you probably could very easily make the mistake. I've made it. I have lots of friends who've made it. We make a leap in 1 or 2 dimensions and we feel like we're God's gift to the universe. And we want to teach, and we know enough that we're going to make a whole career out of it. That's great. Be excited, be passionate, go forth and teach, share your wisdom, but be aware of whether or not you really and truly can represent all of these. Own your bias. Let people know, I'm experienced in this, this, and this. I'm still learning and growing in this, this, and this. Let them know up front. They'll have a lot more trust and respect for you if you don't try to pretend that you can heal everything. And that's probably just reminded me of a topic for a whole nother video, but I'm going to take just another few seconds to say there can be serious damage done if you believe that you can teach a certain thing and you lead someone into it and you cannot carry them through it in the way that they need. I'm thinking in particular right now, mental and emotional health. You might have found the perfect balance to live your bipolar life without medication. Great, that's awesome. But you need to be very careful when you're teaching other people, because this one in particular, people die from unmanaged mental health issues. They die. And you may not hear about it because it's all happening over the internet. You don't know who's digesting your teachings. But you don't want that karma of leading someone to go off their medication too soon. Okay? What works for you may not work for them. So please be conscientious about what it is you're teaching. I'm not telling you not to teach. I'm saying let your love and light shine and really own what you know and what you've yet to understand. Own that with your audience. It will really help. Okay? All right, so I love you guys. I hope this is useful and I hope I didn't ramble too much. Take care and I'll see you soon.